I'm Aaron Baker from Phone Dog, and continuing along with our HTC One dogfight series, we've got the One up against the BlackBerry Z10. Now, you may think this is a little bit of an unconventional dogfight, but what I like about this, both of these companies are fighting for survival in a mobile space that's increasingly dominated by Apple and Samsung. The One is gorgeous. It's coming soon to the U.S. on AT&T, Sprint, and T-Mobile. This is coming soon to Z10, to Verizon, to AT&T, and to T-Mobile as well. Both are releasing kind of around the same time. This one's coming out in March. This one should be out in the U.S. in April, provided there aren't any more delays in the manufacturing process. Which one of these is the ultimate dogfight contender? We will find out in the full dogfight between the One and the Z10, which starts right now. If you're looking at these and thinking to yourself, this is a really dramatically different dogfight, I can't say I was that different from you when I first put it on the editorial calendar a couple of weeks back. I was like, these are very different devices. I've gotten a request a couple of times for a dogfight like this. But when you think about it, really, it's not that different for a couple of reasons. One, HTC is struggling. Profits aren't as great as they used to be. BlackBerry is struggling. They're trying to become that third OS, that third big player after Apple and Samsung, after iOS and Android. And to that end, it's a very similar dogfight in a lot of respects. This is the HTC One coming very soon to AT&T, Sprint, and T-Mobile. This is the BlackBerry Z10 coming very soon to Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. So Sprint is not getting the Z10, Verizon is not getting the HTC One, at least in the form you see in this video. But specs-wise, the HTC One packing a 1.7 gigahertz Qualcomm Snapdragon 600 CPU. It's got a 4.7-inch 1080p HD display. So in comparison to the 5 and the 5.5-inch displays and the 4.8 that we saw in the Galaxy S3, it's a little bit on the small side, but that said, I like that. I mean, I hate to call 4.7 inches small, but really enjoying the size of this display. It's got a 4 ultra-pixel camera. We'll talk a bit more about that later in this video. 2,300 milliamp hour non-removable battery. Android 4.1 with HTC Sense version 5. And then a nice, beautiful metal build quality, which we'll talk about in just a second. The BlackBerry Z10 over here, BlackBerry's second touchscreen attempt, really after the BlackBerry Torch. I should say Torch and Storm, actually, so really the third kind of touchscreen attempt. It's an all-touchscreen device. It's packing a 1.5 gigahertz dual-core Snapdragon S4 CPU, a 4.2-inch HD display, just a little bit over 720p. 8-megapixel camera on the back with 1080p HD recording, a 1,800 milliamp hour battery that is removable. You just take off the battery cover and you're good to go. This has a little bit more of an industrial look and feel, but perhaps most importantly, it's packing BlackBerry 10. I call it research in motion. Actually, it's BlackBerry now. Old habits die hard. BlackBerry's newest mobile operating system that's coming to both this and the Q10 very, very soon when it launches. So Sprint, again, only carrier in the U.S., major carrier that is, it's not stocking the Z10. So different in a lot of ways. The software looks dramatically different. First of all, over here, this is running HTC Sense version 5. So if you have preconceived notions of HTC Sense, throw them out, because really this is an incredibly fast version of HTC Sense. Much faster all around. Pretty pleased with the overall performance of this device and how it performs on day-to-day tasks. Then over here, pretty fast as well. I mean, the dual-core Snapdragon S4 CPU, this one's probably more exciting because BlackBerry 10 is newer than obviously Android, and each Android iteration kind of progressively improves, whereas this is a ground-up revision of BlackBerry's user interface. Again, that said though, really pleased with the performance of both of these devices. Now, design-wise, you're going to notice some differences here. This is glass and metal, absolutely beautiful. You've got your volume rocker over on the right side. Power button doubles up as an IR blaster for remote control, which makes for a ton of fun if you want to take this to the break room. Turn it on and really have fun, wreak havoc with the IR blaster. I turn on the remote all the time, go into the break room and click buttons, and people are like, how's the TV changing? And I'm like, haha, I'm 4 years old. I don't say that, but I think that. But here you go. The speakers are on the front now. HTC Boom sound enabled on the HTC One. Just a beautifully crafted device. Kind of resembles the Droid DNA in the curve on the back. Beautiful device all around. You've got this area here for the wireless radios so they can penetrate, because obviously this is metal. And then you've got nothing over here with the exception of a micro SIM card slot up here in the top left-hand corner, and then your micro USB charging port down here at the bottom. Now, a little bit more plasticky, a little bit more industrial look and feel on the BlackBerry side here, but you've got your micro USB charging port, your HDMI port, big BlackBerry logo down here at the bottom, voice recording button, volume rocker, power button, and 3.5mm headphone jack up top. Nothing down there at the bottom. So design-wise, a little bit different, but then also screen size, 4.7 to 4.2 inches. If this is an all-touchscreen device, you'd think They might go for a little bit of a larger display. They're sticking at 4.2 inches, a little bit larger than an iPhone 5, in hopes that it'll bring people over. So dramatic differences between Android and BlackBerry 10, but out of the box, these are both unlocked, unbranded devices, so there aren't any carrier-installed applications right now on either unit. That said, that's going to change, I'm sure, when these both land in the States. This is an unlocked HTC One. This is an unlocked BlackBerry Z10, both sent by their respective PR agencies, so special thanks for those. Also want to give special thanks to our partners at Best Buy Mobile for giving us devices like this that we turn around and give to you in Phone Dog's Instant Win game at instantwin.phonedog.com. When you walk into Best Buy Mobile, you'll walk out working. They'll help you set up your email, your web, your contacts, and settings. So when you walk out the door, you're good to go. At Best Buy Mobile, they got you taken care of, and you walk out the door without having to deal with all that hassle. And it's nice at Best Buy Mobile. So let's take a look here at what comes out of the box. First of all, I want to highlight BlackBerry 10 because it is an entirely ground-up revision of the operating system. You've got your BlackBerry Hub, first of all, which is kind of your go-to for all kinds of content. Your notifications, BlackBerry Messenger or BBM, which has been rolled into the Hub, text messages, calls, voicemail, and more. So you've got that right here, and it's kind of, again, your one-stop shop for all of that stuff. Then your applications, it's all intended to be a touch-based application system. You can see there are no buttons down at the bottom, whereas over on Android, typical home and back buttons here. This one actually doubles up to be a couple of different things. Your recent applications, Google Now, if you press and hold it, then you got your back button. The HTC logo does nothing, so keep that in mind, other than sitting there looking pretty or perhaps ugly, depending on your interpretation of logos. But there are two buttons down there, whereas here it's all touch-based, as you can see. So even when you turn the phone off and back on, you can see push up, and then again, it's all a touch-based application. You've got grid here, 4x4, and then over here in your menu, you've got, right now I have 4x4, but you can make it 4x3 as well, or 3x4, change the grid size if I want to. And actually, out of the box, this is how the grid size looks. Now, HTC has made huge improvements, if you will. Improvements, I think they're improvements, but you may call them something else. With Blink Feed, which is an application here, kind of like Flipboard, that comes out of the box, which gives the user quick and easy access to the things that matter most to them. So Twitter, Facebook, news, you can come in here and do topics and services and kind of customize your feed to what's most important to you. And what's intended here is that you're standing at a bus stop, you're standing in a cab, perhaps you're waiting for an airplane or something like that, you're at the airport, and you want quick and easy access to news, but you don't really want to read anything, you just want to browse. Well, with this, again, very similar to Flipboard, you can do that, but it's optimized out of the box. And then if you want to, you can add the traditional home screens, as you've seen that I've done right here. You have a maximum of 5 home screens. You can't get rid of Blink Feed, but that said, you can turn it to where this is a stock home screen. So instead of powering it off and back on and going immediately to Blink Feed, I go right to my home screen in traditional Android factor. Also, HTC Zoe, very cool. Love the camera on this device. The 8-megapixel camera over here is a little bit lacking. And you know what? We're going to mix it up and start right into the camera, actually. I think that's an exciting way to change around this dogfight. So we'll load up the cameras here. 4 ultra-pixel camera over here with HTC Zoe, and I'll show you some cool features on this one as well as this one. So obviously the camera features over here, you just press on the screen and it snaps pictures. Now obviously it needs to focus in. You see right there. Let's go ahead and get this focused in. Bam. So not the best in the world by any means, but again, you can see it's relatively quick and easy to use. I will say this device is incredibly responsive all around. I've been pretty pleased with the overall speed of the unit. You can see it moves through things pretty quickly. But you've got the camera here, and then you have the faces feature, which I don't have any faces in this, but it'll try to detect the faces. And let's say I have a picture, for example, where nobody's smiling in one, or everybody's blinking in one, or one person's blinking. I can move through and find the best out of all of these and select that as my picture. So I can go back to the regular camera. You have a camcorder as well at 1080p here, and then you've got your settings over here. Normal shooting modes, auto, flash, aspect ratio, and all of that good stuff. And again, all a touch-based application. You'll notice there is no button. When I want to come up, I just have to swipe. Actually, I'm in portrait or in landscape mode, so I do it that way. Now over here, gorgeous camera. Absolutely impressed with the camera here. And one of my favorite features is called HTC Zoe. So it takes still pictures, obviously, so I'll come in here and take a picture, a couple pictures of the BlackBerry, but it takes what's called HTC Zoe, which is a 3-second video snippet. So you can take a combination of Zoes and still pictures throughout the day, and we'll call this an HTC Zoe that we're taking of the Z10, and you saw how the red lit up there, and so that one is there in the gallery. HTC Zoe that we're taking. And so what I'll do is I'll go back to the gallery actually and come in here and turn it on so you can see what an HTC Zoe looks like. So you can see my combination of Zoes, they'll start moving and doing a couple things. This one up here is the Zoe. So what it does on the back end, the phone brings together images videos and more, and creates this kind of custom thing that you can share with friends, which I really like. And you can change it from Eiffel. You can select the content if you don't want certain pictures appearing. I can go in here and let's do Burbia. And so obviously I don't have that many pictures in here, so that's why I keep rotating through the same thing. But if you take, let's say, 100 pictures throughout the day, you're at a wedding, you're with a friend, you're out and about on vacation, you can really see how these Zoes will come to life, and you can change them to make them your own customized video and send those to your friends as well. Unfortunately, you can't do your own songs in it just yet, but you've got, I think it's like 8 or 9 different options to choose from. Can't remember the exact count now. I'm kind of curious, so I'm going to go in here and take a look. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different options to choose from in the gallery, so I can customize it and send it along to my friends as an HTC Zoe share. So very cool feature right there. Happen to be pretty fond of it. And to end part 1, we'll take a look at the keyboards on both of these devices. 4.7-inch display, 4.2 inches. BlackBerry Z10 has a fantastic keyboard all around that I'm really impressed with over here. Still got to give the slight edge to this one because they have improved it dramatically, even from Sense 4 Plus, which if you've watched my videos, you know that I love Sense 4 Plus's keyboard. Huge improvements even over here. So we'll say the quick brown fox is happy that it is Thursday. Brown fox is happy it's Thursday. That quad-core processor running incredibly fast. But over here, pretty impressive as well with some impressive word predictions. So we'll say, actually I want to do two. I want to do the quick brown fox and see how it's starting to predict my words. Fox jumps over the lazy dog. So I can do a combination of that, and of course in landscape mode I can use it as well. So 4.2 inches, a little bit on the small side for people that are used to touchscreens if you're coming from a 4.5 or higher inch display. But that said, I love the autocorrect on this. Definitely the best BlackBerry keyboard on screen that I've ever used. Stay tuned for part 2. We will talk about applications.